Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the Sneasler in the Open Ultra League, because this Pokemon currently is spawning in the wild, or the pre-evolution, which is the first time ever. You should definitely check this Pokemon out in general, because right now it's the only way to get really one for the Great League as well, because any from X or like Go Battle League rewards would be too high for the Great League. So definitely try to get a good Sneasler or a good Sneasler for the Great League as well as for the Ultra League during this current event. Definitely try to use this current event to get the very good IV Service Pokemon. But here we're going to take a look now at a team that is pretty similar to a team that I already showcased prior. We're going to have again our friend the Toxicroak on this team here. But this time around we don't have the lead of Pidgeot, which is a little bit tricky. I think Pidgeot is the better lead for this team as well, but I didn't really want to go for a pretty much similar team than what I had before with the Toxicroak, but I kind of want to have the Toxicroak plus the Sneasler variant there in the back, because they both have the exact same typing. So Sneasler can kind of function as a safe swap that can try to get out, for example, ghost type Pokemon, while you're still at least going to be able to hit them for neutral damage with your fast move, or like for super effective damage with your fast move, while your charge moves don't really do too much damage here. I think otherwise it only learns Aerial Ace, which maybe might be a little bit better than Executor, but it's still not really the best one. Here we're going to see actually a Gangshot alone Mug. That kind of surprised me, but it doesn't really matter anyway, because we can still get to 2 close combats here, and boom, gonna do a ton of damage. And we can see even another one hitting here as well, which they're going to let go through as well, allowing us to realign. We have the Machamp in the back, and of course our Toxicroak, as said already in previous videos. Toxicroak right now, honestly, one of the most underrated Pokemon for this meta, because this Pokemon just has so much potential to counter all the fighting types basically. The Machamp is completely getting hard-walled, the Virizion is completely getting hard-walled, the Cobalion you can literally just farm all the way down. There's nothing that you can really throw at you, just because of the insanely good typing for this current meta here right now. Kind of similar actually to the typing of a Medicham in the Great League, but I don't think there's any Fighting plus Psychic type. Oh no, there's actually Gallade that would be possible as an option as well for the Ultra League. But of course Gallade is way squishier than something like a Medicham or even a Toxicroak. Here we're going to encounter a Greedent. This can be actually a little bit tricky, but I'm going to try to get a shield from the opponent here with my Mud Bomb. They're going to shield this move up. I can go ahead, go for another Mud Bomb here. Maybe they want to use another one here, but they're going to let this move go through, allowing us to at least get 2 more counters in after this one, and we should get some extra energy here and realign. But in comes now the Tentacruel, where they're gonna go ahead and go straight into that Pokemon here, allowing us to go for another Mud Bomb and get them to half of the health. And I will be able to go back into my Warren here, which has access to the move Earthquake, which will be very nice for this matchup, as they go straight for the Scald, kind of revealing that they don't have a Sludge Wave or something like that on their Tentacruel, which is really good to know, as you're going to see the Scald coming through here right now. Attack drop. That does not really matter, as you're going to see here right now. The Earthquake is coming through and going to just one-shot the opponent. In comes, though, the Buzzwole. That's going to be a tough one to still win, because we don't really have anything to hit them, but they don't have anything to hit us either. As you see here, the Lunge is going to be double resisted, and they're going to try to swap out here into the Greedent. And I have no idea why they forfeited. Like, honestly, they definitely still had a pretty decent chance of winning this game, but they just decided to forfeit here. That's going to be fine for us, as we now go into the next matchup against a Skuntank. But they're going to swap out now into the Giratina, which is really not ideal for us. And this where basically this Pokemon just needs a better charge move. If this Pokemon ever gets a better charge move other than X, this Pokemon might be one of the strongest Pokemon for the Great League, and Ultra League as well. So definitely try to get a good one there. But if you had some kind of coverage for the Giratina, no, I'm not talking about Aerial Ace, because Aerial Ace still won't do a lot of damage either. But if you had like any kind of coverage where it would be neutral against a Pokemon like this Pokemon would be such a strong safe swap in the current meta here. But sadly, of course, as you know already, we don't really have any coverage for that, so it's going to be a little bit tricky. Here we're gonna be able to go ahead and go for a charge move against the opponent, try to bait the potential shield, and we're gonna be able to do exactly that. Going into our Toxicroak and trying to go for one Mud Bomb, but they're going to be able to get to their Flamethrower just one turn or one fast move before I get to my Mud Bomb. But I can at least overfarm to 2 Mud Bombs here right now, going to knock out the opponent or get the shield. I'm gonna get the knockout here, and in comes again the Giratina, which you hopefully can also knock out. Now it really depends on what they're going to have in the back here, and we're going to see they're going to have the Virizion in the back. Can we actually still win this game? It's going to be close. They're actually going to get to another fast move through here. That was kind of bad for us that they got the extra fast move through, but I will be able to go ahead and go for another Icicle Spear here. They're forced to go for 2 charge moves against me. We have a ton of lag here. I remember this game as well. We had so many frame drops again. I think I recently actually said, oh, I didn't really have any frame drops. All of them are back, of course. But like this, we're going to lose this match. But also, even if we didn't allow the opponent to get the extra fast move in there, we would have lost this match anyway. So that's going to be a good game to my opponent there. Next game here, we're going to have the Registeel, which going to be definitely an interesting matchup. Here they are running Flash Cannon. We can take one charge move. In comes now the Trevenant. Again, Exeter would have been definitely a little bit of a better coverage move for Sneasler in the current meta, it feels like. Because, well, the Exeter here going to... does say Exeter before? Aerial is definitely the better move right now, I feel like. But, yeah, while the Exeter does at least neutral damage here, Aerial would have been super effective and would have knocked out the opponent here. But still, you kind of need a different charge move on that Pokemon. Some kind of poison move would be really nice on this Sneasler, but we will never see that most likely. Here we're going to see a Toxicroak against us, which has now one fast move energy advantage, which is going to allow it to win this matchup against my Toxicroak, which is not really ideal. But let's see, we're going to get out the Mud Bomb here, we're going to get the shield from the opponent, they're going to go straight for their Mud Bomb as well. As I should be able to get the final shield of the opponent here with my one, but they're going to swap out into a Registeel, allowing me to go for a Mud Bomb here while I still have a Mud Bomb stored. And I can go ahead and go for another Mud Bomb straight away, trying to knock them out here. This can still be a very decent one for us. Is they're going to let this move go through? Can we get to another Mud Bomb in time? We can, and now I'm going to just try to swap out, go for the Icicle Spear, and I think they're in range for knocking them out with that. Let's take a look at this one. We had that move stored here, and we will see now the Icicle Spear going to knock out the opponent's Toxicroak, and this is going to be a good game. Also, this is going to be the team that got me to a veteran, which is going to be very nice to see, while there are some obvious weaknesses. Again, as said before already, Pidgeot seems to be the better lead for this team, because those ghost types can be a little bit tricky, especially if they have a subtyping basically that's going to be tricky to deal with my other Pokemon here. So I would recommend you to go for Pidgeot over the Walrein if you have, but you can still use the Walrein as well, because as you see here already, of course, this team worked out pretty well for me, even with the weakness here against Jellicent. So yeah, we're going to have another weakness as well, which you're going to see maybe later on as well. Dragality, of course, also not really ideal for us. Again, would have been cool if we had like some kind of neutral move here. But we can go ahead and go for the Close Combat and do a ton of damage still. Try to force another shield here with going for the Exeter. I wouldn't have got to another move, but sadly they're going to let this move go through, allowing me at least to go into my Walrein and go for another charge move here with the Icicle Spear. As I'm going to shield this move up, in hindsight I must say I shouldn't have done that, but I have to try to knock them out here with another charge move. But let's take a look at this. We're going to see the Icicle Spear coming through and going to knock them out. They have to have something weak in the bag for us to have a chance of winning this game. But we will find out now. They're going to have a Gliscor in the back. They're literally completely hardwallers from the get-go. There was nothing we can do here. Gliscor definitely here now, this time around a little bit better. But here's the other Pokemon that is now going to be very tricky, while we don't have the Pidgeot anymore, which is going to be Golisopod, which is going to be also a pain here to deal with, because of the new move Liquidation that's going to do just way more damage to my Pokemon, and it's just not really a worth it matchup for us to deal with here, because our lead is completely hard countered here by the Golisopod, of course, so we have to kind of try to get to another charge move here, and hopefully they're going to let this move go through, but of course they want to realign. Now it's all down to our good friend here, the Sneasler. Sneasler going to be able to at least go ahead and go for the Close Combat as they swap into the Gliscor. Very smart move there. I know that the Exeter would be neutral, but I'm pretty sure that Close Combat does way more damage than the Exeter, even though like the Exeter is going to be a neutral move and Close Combat going to be resisted. But here, of course, we still have to knock them out here, and we can still at least go for one charge move with our Walrein. But it really depends on what they're going to have in the back here. As the Liquidation coming through doesn't get the debuff, which is really important here, so we can go for the Icicle Spear. We're going to put them perfectly into farm down range here. What do they have in the back? It's going to be the Virizion, but this is going to be still a difficult one for us, but I think we're actually fine here. Because we have some extra energy here, I'm going to be able to now go for the Icicle Spear spam. I should be able to just two-shot them with the Shadow Variant here, and as you can see here, yes, it does a ton of damage. Enough damage to knock out the opponent, and this should be a good game here. So let's take a look at the next game. We're going to see the opponent having the Scrafty in the lead. We can now swap out into our good friend the Sneasler, and we will be able to go ahead and go for the Close Combat eventually. Also, you're going to be able to resist every single move that they could have, but it's still, of course, we are squishy Pokemon, so it's going to be a little bit tricky. And again, Aerial Ace would have been better here. Instead, I have to go for one Exeter. Here's the opponent going to have a Drifblim coming in, and they're going to go straight for the charge move, allowing me to A, get a shield, and B, now realign my Walrein against them, which is going to be really handy. So Very nice for us so far. We can even go for the Icicle Spear before they can even go for one Mystical Fire. So this is going to now knock out the opponent. I can swap out. They didn't even wait out the switch clock here, which is really beneficial for us again, because we can get a ton of energy here as they go for their foul play. And in comes now the Jellicent. Again, we have a little bit of a struggle with Jellicent. I don't know where they're all coming from, but they're definitely here right now, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to deal with that. We can go ahead and go for another Mud Bomb, but this Mud Bomb is not going to do too much damage here, and we still have to kind of rely on trying to get rid of the opponent's other Pokemon there, what's called the Scrafty, so I'm kind of forced to keep my Toxicroak around here. I'm not sure if this is going to work out as well as I want to, but I can still go ahead and go into my Walrein and try to over-farm by quite a bit. And as it turns out here, we're going to see the Shadow Ball coming through here. They're going to go into the Scrafty. I didn't think that they're going to shield this move up because I can definitely survive another Icicle Spear. But no, they're going to shield up the Earthquake, and like this, there is not a lot that I can do here. I'm forced to go for the Sludge Bomb. The other move wouldn't have knocked them out here for sure. Mud Bomb definitely does not knock out the opponent there. And we're going to miss out on this knockout here by one single turn. So that's going to be very nice. Good game to the opponent here. Well played again, but Jellicent is a little bit too strong for this candidate here. We're going to see the next opponent with a Sandslash. I thought they would swap out immediately because I'm swapping in a fighting type against a Sandslash, but nope. They are staying in, which is very decent by them. Definitely a smart decision to do that. But still, I'm going to be able to at least get 2 shields here from the opponent, as I can bait first with the Exeter and then go for the close combat, which will be enough to knock them out here for sure. But they're going to shield up the move, and now I am 2 shields up, which is going to be very nice for me, as I can go ahead, let this move go through, go into my Toxicroak and just try to farm them all the way down. While this does not work here, I'm going to shield up another charge move. Now I'm going to try to get my energy with my Walrein just to get some kind of advantage somewhere. This should only be like an Ice Punch or a Drill Run. I don't know. It's going to be a Drill Run. Unnecessary damage again. We're going to see the Tapu Fini coming in. Would have been a fine one for a Toxicroak, but I'm not sure what they're going to have in their bag here right now. We can go for the Earthquake there, which is going to put them into range where I can go for another charge move and knock them out with my other Toxicroak. I just need a Mud Bomb from this range, which is really nice to see. Because, yeah, Mud Bomb easily going to be enough here. I have a ton of energy. I know they're going to be able to knock out the other Pokemon there. It just depends on what they have in the bag. And it's going to be, let's see, they're going to wait out the clock here. It's going to be a Virizion, which is going to be super nice for us. Because, again, the Toxicroak is the best answer for Virizion, which is basically everywhere right now. So this is going to be super nice for us. We're going to see the opponent going for the Leaf Blade here. I can let this move go through. I can go for the Mud Bomb here on not a CMP type, but just in the middle of their fast move animation, knock them out and win this game here. So good game there. Final game for today's video, I think it's going to be a Stunfisk in the lead. This is not really ideal, but I'm going to try to bait the opponent here by going for the Exeter. They could, of course, they're most likely going to shield here because Close Combat would have done a ton of damage, but no, they're going to let this move go through. Close Combat most likely would have actually one-shot them because we have such an insane attack stat with the Sneasler that it is a wild thing to go for. Here we're going to still have to go for another Close Combat against the opponent's Golisopod, and you see already the damage output from this one. It is resisted, but it doesn't really matter. It still does a ton of damage. And I can go ahead and go into the Walrein, but at this point of time, we are so far behind. We are a shield behind, we are not in the switch advantage, we have a lead that is going to be very strong against both of our Pokemon in the back. There's basically nothing that I can really do here to still win this game here, I feel like, because I'm so far behind at this point of time. We can go for the Icicle Spear. I'm going to be able to do some decent damage there, and I can see now that the opponent going to have a Virizion in the back, allowing me to now swap into my own Toxicroak, which will get them low, and I can let this move go through because there's nothing they can do that really going to hit me, and they're going to stay in here for whatever reason, but we're going to put them into range where I can now knock them out even with a one fast move of our Walrein in the back, as they just gave us so much energy onto our Toxicroak that we're just going to be able to just spam those Mud Bombs. This is going to be super good for us, as the Mud Bomb spam going to be enough to knock out the opponent here, as well as the next Mud Bomb is coming through with a few HP left. That's going to be it for today's video, as well as we're going to be able to also counter down the opponent's Virizion, and we're going to be able to hit the veteran rank. Now, I'm a little bit late because I played some fun stuff for the Great League, which I might make a video when that's going to be back, but still, yeah, gonna hit this one, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one, and bye!